Hi guys, welcome to the Daily Neloo, a daily show to help you connect to your heart, choose love over fear, no exceptions, and live from inspired action. Today I have a very special guest, Anise K, recording artist and entertainment executive. All the way here from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome.
Thank you.
You were in town for the Grammys.
Correct.
That's right.
Actually, I was here for a show in December that I had with my dad in Arizona. Then we stayed back, and then the Grammys, and then just things kept on rippling.
And your dad is a violinist.
That's right, yeah.
So how long have you been in the industry?
I would say between 15 to 18 years.
15 to 18 years, always in front or also the back?
Majority of it behind the scenes. Growing and being raised in a musical family, I was always inspired by my dad every day playing the violin. Growing up, listening to specific artists that have multicultural flavors in their tones, learning and understanding cultures through music was a big part of me, and so I became pretty much a music creator. I wouldn't even say producer. I was a creator of music till I kind of excelled at my own craft, and then till I realized that this is something that I really want to do, knowing that the industry is a difficult industry to be in.
So within that range of music and entertainment, like what is your expertise?
I guess having an international ear to sound. I was, as I've mentioned, I grew up on listening to Yanni.
Yeah.
So for me, from the age of 3 or 4, listening to the way he would build a bridge between the West and the East was very inspiring for me. Listening to the Eastern music that was brought to a commercial or mass level for me, because I come from a Middle Eastern background, to hear that on a Western scale of media and having sold out shows, for me it was quite inspiring, because from the Iranian community, things were a lot more smaller, and the whole government and all of that with music was a bit more confined, and it was kind of suppressed. Very controlled.
Yeah.
And for me, being raised listening to someone like Yanni kind of opened up my ears to understand all genres of music. Now, I'm not an expert in producing all styles, but I'm very versatile when it comes to producing. And today, now I produce music for many Western artists and for myself.
Eastern.
And Eastern as well,
That's
correct. So that's where I'm at right now.
So the reason I wanted to have you on this show in particular is because we Peace Unleashed, we teach inner peace. It's all about living from that heart space. And you and I had a very beautiful conversation where we met at an art gallery, at an art show, and that was about the struggles people in entertainment, people in music, people who have had immense success professionally and financially go through still internally, because they still haven't found that inner peace, regardless of how much fame, fortune they've had, right?
Correct. Until you haven't lived in the world of entertainment, whether it be film, music, fine print, whatever it is, once you hit a certain level of success. Now, the question here is, what is success?
Yeah.
Some people it's fame, some people it's money, some people it's accomplishing something that they've wanted to bring to reality.
Right.
Now, the discussion that we had at the art gallery the other night was, in most cases, there is always the same result when it comes to people, influential people in the entertainment industry, where when you have everything in the world at your disposal and you can get anything that you want, it's a natural human instinct to want more.
Right, yeah.
Now, how does one individual differ from another? Some people find drugs. They find drugs a way of release, to escape the problems they may have going on. Alcohol is another one, where I'm talking in excess or abuse. And then we have people who become addicted to these, I'm going to call them chemicals. They end up not a good result. A lot of overdose, a lot of lives lost because of this. The entertainment industry is such a tough industry. There is a lot of pressure from every aspects, whether it be organizations, whether it be people, the pressure of withstanding the responsibility as an artist to your millions of followers. You have to keep delivering, and the pressure that you put on yourself we're all human. We're not robots. We cannot just trigger it on and say, yeah, that's fine. We're going to keep doing it every single day. So from that point of view, the fact that there's so much pressure, we're doing that to ourselves. We need to find a way to escape. And that escape for some people is drugs, alcohol, and the other stuff. But there are some people who find spirituality.
And it sounds like that's the path you've taken.
I was raised as a Baha'i from a young age, and very, very much under the umbrella of so in our religion, it's kind of like, just because my parents are Baha'is doesn't mean I'm a Baha'i.
Correct, yeah. I was also raised Baha'i, as you know.
And at the age of 15, I mean, one of the things that we have is independent investigation of the truth.
Yeah.
We are advised to do research and read in what we believe, because at the end of the day, religion is a very private thing. And the conversations that I've had with many people along the lines, and it's a very sensitive topic, is that the word, for example, God, can resent people,
Yeah.
and the word God can bring people. Now,
Same with prayer.
And same with prayer. And the reason that I've come to understand is this word God, I'm going to call it like an unknowable essence.
Okay.
God is an unknowable essence that you can't see, you can feel. You have people in the world causing terror in the name of God. And then you've got people, and separation. And then you've got people in the world who are trying to bring unity through the name or word of God. So there's a massive fine line of such it's complete opposites. So, and then you've got society who are just confused because we're fed with all these corruption, media, and all of that, and it's just, we've fallen into this trap where people just kind of need to get rid of technology, get rid of everything, and just sit down in a place like this and just reflect and believe what they believe, because you cannot lie to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can lie to yourself, but you're lying, so it kind of cancels it out. So
God knows.
Yeah. So for me, it's kind of like, in this industry, a lot of people have gone to the spiritual side.
Yeah.
Like I know Ricky Martin, he went through different religions and went to Buddhism and all of that. So it's kind of like they need something more. They know there's more to life than just selling out shows, releasing singles, and selling millions. There's more to it, 'cause they are also human, and we all have this spiritual inability within us to kind of grow and develop on this so-called materialistic earth.
So for artists that are listening, no matter what level of success they're at,
Of course.
What advice do you have for them? If maybe they've already gone down the path of addiction, right? Or maybe they've had a close call with an overdose.
Absolutely.
What advice do you have for them to find their way through that?
The only thing I can say from my point of view is my addiction was music. I've worked with many artists, and we all know that many artists, I'm not going to say all, but many artists are inspired once they've taken some type of substance. It takes them to another world to become creative. Well, I've proved to myself that I don't need those substances. I'm inspired by sound. I'm inspired by the energy that I feel. I'm inspired by music. For me, music was oxygen. So for me, I didn't need to touch those substances, as well as being raised as a Baha'i. I was very sheltered as a Baha'i to know what's right and what's wrong. And I'm going to be careful with that, because we're not a fanatic about that.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about religion or spiritual beliefs, is fanaticism. That's complete different topics. But I was raised under the umbrella of the Baha'i faith, and the way I was raised, I saw the world a specific way, and it was meant to be in a better way, where we have to bring the world together. So I knew all these things that we need to practice, and it's not just a religious thing that we shouldn't be drinking or drugs. 4 days ago in Australia, I mean, this is completely off topic, 3 siblings were killed because a guy was drunk behind the wheel and he ran over them as they were just walking on the footpath. Now you tell me, has that got to do with religion, or it's got to do with abuse, losing control,
Being disconnected.
being
from
disconnected.
yourself.
Yeah.
Also in the news in Australia was a pig who stole 18 beers got drunk and fought a cow. You see that?
No.
It was also in the
Really?
news. Yes.
So, so it's a very animalistic
Yes.
approach. I mean,
Yeah.
as you just said. So, for me, my only advice is, I don't want to tell people what to do and what not to do. But from my own personal opinion, we don't need these substances to become creative.
I love that you brought this up because in our work, teaching spirituality, teaching meditation, that same situation exists. A lot of people, especially in Los Angeles, feel the need to take hallucinogenics, drugs, do ayahuasca to connect to that divine, to have that like kind of greater experience. We don't need that. Like we all have that ability to connect.
Yeah.
That relationship with the divine is very personal. It's beautiful when we're able to share it with a collective, in a church or music. But I think that has distracted the purpose of meditation, of connection. One of the things you mentioned is that your obsession, your addiction was music. We have a book club, and the last book that we read was Journey of Souls.
Okay.
And it's about basically the journey of the soul beyond this physical universe. And music is actually the language of souls.
Yeah.
And when we read that in the book club, like
it's
really,
the ladder to the
it's
soul.
Like the truth really resonated. Of
course.
And that's why, when we hear a song that just like rips right through our hearts, what is it like to create that? Like what kind of space do you have to go into to create that?
Well, knowing that, having the ability to have the golden key to touch the hearts, because music is the universal language. You can still be deaf and hear music because you'll feel it. That's how open your heart has to be to understand the power of music. In having said that, to kind of answer your question, how do I feel? I feel blessed, like many millions of people are blessed and should be blessed, because we all have the ability to have that power to make change, to raise awareness, to bring music for good. You've got all styles of music. You've got gang musics where it's actually a hidden agenda or message that they're actually retaliating to another. Music is used in so many ways, but as soon as you abuse anything, go drink 20 liters of water right now, you'll get water poisoning.
That's right.
Anything in excess
becomes a toxic.
So the whole thing is knowing to have the balance, and for myself to have the ability to maybe touch a few hearts through my music. It feels amazing. It's amazing without the ego being attached to it. It feels amazing because it makes me happy to know that someone can be taken to a higher realm once listening to the style of music that I might do. So I do pop stuff. I've done hip hop, I've done dance, EDM, but my core music is new. Yanni. I cannot
you play
explain
the piano
it.
yourself.
Yeah, I play the piano, the keyboard. I play a lot of instruments.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'll pick up any instrument and play it, because I'm no longer the instrument. I just become a channel, and I'll just play what's in here and what I can hear in my head, and I'll express that. So for me, it's amazing that I can, and that's one thing that I lack, is maybe sometimes communicating my emotion. I've probably lost on that a little bit
because you rely so much on music to do so.
My music is my way of expressing my emotion.
Okay. We have plenty of people that can talk.
No, I know. So, in that aspect, yeah, it's an amazing feeling. And it's even more amazing when people smile, or they cry, or it allows them to open the floodgates of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because that music is meant to be emotional, yeah.
So we do have to wrap up.
Yep.
For people watching, what big project you have? What can they look for?
Currently working on a project. I can't really say much, but it's
Exclusive.
It is very exclusive. It's an old song that we're kind of bringing back to life from the 80s. So we've come together and we're just fine-tuning a few things, and now it's kind of the music is there. Now we've got to take the music cap off and put on the business cap and start to work the business side of things, which is
that's a whole different
different ballgame.
We'll have a different episode for that. Next time he takes, how long is your flight from Melbourne to here?
That 14, 15 hours.
Next time.
Yeah.
And then how can they find you on social media?
So it's my Instagram is @Anise K official, and then my Facebook I think is Anise K Music, and then Twitter is Anise K Music as well.
And I'll make sure to add those handles to the bottom of this video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Thank
My
you
pleasure.
for sharing so
Thank you.
openly. Keep watching, guys. You can always follow me at #TheDailyNeloo, and I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.